All right, hey everybody, we are back in the car. It is 8:30. According to the nav, I will be at the property at 10. So I'm on my way to my rental property where I am again meeting some people regarding the property and looking at the work that has already been done. I already seen everything that was been done except for the roof. Okay, so let's talk about this. Last time I talked to you guys was in the video, the truth about being a landlord, where I shared with you my experience about being a single female landlord who doesn't have a property manager and pretty much manages my property myself. Okay, and so in that video I was on my way out to the property because I was meeting a repairman for a quote, so he could give me, look around, see what needs to be done and give me a quote. Right now, here's the thing. A lot of you all, a lot of women know about this mansplaining. Y'all heard that term before, where men feel the need to over-explain things to you because sometimes I feel it's a little ego driven. It's a little like, I'm gonna share with you everything I know because I just want to share with somebody everything I know, because it makes me look like the big man. It makes me look smart. It makes you admire me, and you're the little fragile woman. Well, anyways, in my professional life, I got different compartments of professional lives. So in my life of being like a landlord or something like that, I let men talk. I just let them say whatever they need, because in what they say and in what they don't say, I learn a lot. So when this guy was there and he was going through the property and he was over explaining everything, I knew one thing was for sure. A, he liked to hear himself talk, and B, he was over explaining things to make things sound more complicated than they really were for a reason. But what I like to do is just listen and pick up what I can pick up, because you can learn from anybody, right? Just be quiet. So I just listen, I just nod, I just say, oh, okay, yeah, good idea, great. So in all of his explaining, I got a good grasp on what needed to be done, because I knew if I had to have somebody else come out, I can compare and contrast versus what they say versus what he said, or even take some of the stuff he said and tell it to them so that they will know, right? So anyways, he went through the property and I had a list of the things that needed to be fixed, and he went through and he had an hourly rate. His hourly rate wasn't bad at all. The problem was he overinflated the hours. For instance, the screen door was kind of loose, but it was kind of loose because of the structure that it was attached to, a piece of wood. So really, and even he said it, all that needed to be done was some nails needed to be put into the wood, and the wood needed to be secured so that everything could be more secure. That is it. He claimed that it was going to take him an hour to do that. Bruh, I can do that, right? So an hour. So it's like, okay. And then I needed a handle put back on a shower, you know, the shower handle thing. And he was saying he had to go into the wall, he had to break into the back wall, he had to like do all of this stuff and change out the diverter. And I'm like, why? I said, well, can't you just put a handle on? Oh no, there's probably more issues, and it's gonna take me 5 hours to get to the bottom of it. And then the fan blades needed to be tightened up. He said it was gonna take 2.5 hours to do that. He said because he was gonna have to take the fan apart piece by piece. And I said, well, for 2.5 hours, it seems like it'll be cheaper just for me to buy a new fan and have that put up. Oh, well, it's going to be about the same because I'm going to have to take that fan down and put the new fan up. Bottom line is, by the time, now a lot of these things were just little things that I wanted fixed or adjusted or tightened up. Little things. And he came up that it was going to be 15 hours worth of work. 15 hours. and he was going to charge me $900 plus parts for 15 hours. Now, one of the bigger things that I really needed, besides the little things, was the roof. A piece had flown off of the roof, like an eave. I learned that it's called what do you call it? They called it a rake board and a flash, like a piece of flashing was blown off. So I really needed that reattached, but he didn't feel comfortable getting up on the roof. Now, he was clear that he can do it, but he just don't want to do it because, again, he over talked, and I knew a lot of it was attached to his sense of worth, because he was saying how this is what he charges, not because he needs the money, but it's basically just what he charges, and basically I could take it or leave it. And I said, well, you know, maybe I can use you for some of the things and just not everything. Maybe I can find somebody else to do some of the other things, and that way bring down the hours that's going to take. And so then he told me, oh, well, if it's not going to be at least $300 worth of work, it wouldn't be worth his time. So I was like, okay, well, you know, so I'll see what I can see and everything, but you know that this is just a steep price. And that was that. Shook hands, bam, booda bam, booda bam, bow, bow. Kind of knew I wasn't going to use him because I kind of knew he was overinflating the hours to begin with. And to me, that's not integrity. And remember, I told y'all, one of the first things I look for, I just want to work with good people. And he is a good person. I mean, you know, he's not a good person. His rates are just his rates. But it don't take that long to do that stuff that he was saying. I know that. And so in the meantime, I also made an appointment to have a refrigerator repair person come out because the refrigerator wasn't properly cooling, and they gave me a date of Friday. So tomorrow they was like they can get the refrigerator person out, and that was that. But I was like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board and find somebody else. So before I had called this guy, I did call the handy guy who I usually work with, but he hadn't returned my call or my text at the time, which is why I scheduled an appointment with this other person. So I tried the person who I normally use again. I sent him a text, and he didn't respond back. And then about later that night, or maybe even the next day, I gave him a phone call, and he answered. And you know, he was basically saying, you know, he was busy, he had got my call and all of that stuff. So I told him what I needed and everything, and could he possibly take a look. And he's super busy, so he doesn't always have time. He just like kind of does this on the side in between running his own company and everything. And so he told me that he could meet me Tuesday, which is why I went back out there on Tuesday. And then he also ended up saying he knew somebody who could possibly look at the roof. He reached out to that person. And then finally, I think on Tuesday morning, that person was like, okay, he can swing by after work and take a look at the roof. So I was like, great, 2 appointments on Tuesday. Hopefully it all works out, because I just really want to get everything taken care of. So he came out on Tuesday. We went through the house. I took off from work because I was like, since this other guy claimed it's going to be 15 hours worth of work plus the parts, I said, well, maybe I can go and be of assistance and run to the store. You know, that would cut down on some time. Like if he needed me to run back to Home Depot, I can go to Home Depot and pick up stuff. I can just be as helpful as I could be. And so that's what I did. And so we went out there, and I met up with him, and everything worked out in perfect timing. And he was able to handle everything. He put a knob back on the shower faucet, which was all that was needed, not breaking into the wall, nothing like that. He, like I said before, instead of playing around with that fan, let's just put a new unit up there. So actually what he suggested, which made perfect sense, because I had that fan up there when I lived there, he was like, just take the fan down. It was in the basement. The basement's cool. It didn't need a fan. And just put a light source back up there. Boom. Went and bought like a $20 light fixture and put that up there instead. And that took no more than a half an hour to do. He put some nails back up in the board. Took like 5 minutes to do, not the hour the other guy said. He changed out 2 faucets in the upstairs master bathroom unit. And maybe that was what took the longest. That took like about maybe an hour and a half. And it also could have been me, because I was up there, we were just talking and stuff like that and catching up on things. So that was probably the part that took the longest. His friend swung through, and he had a ladder. The ladder wasn't even tall enough to reach the roof, but homeboy Jimmy rigged it to get up on that roof. And now this was in between him getting off of his day job and going out to his side hustles where he was cleaning gutters and stuff for people. He was like, yo, it had been raining earlier that day. It was stopped raining. He got up on that roof. I had to look away because that mess was scary looking. That ladder was so steep for him to get up there. And my friend, he held the roof, and I already had the piece that flew off the roof, so he went up there, he nailed that back in, just to discover that that was one piece. It was two pieces that was missing that flew off the roof. From the ground, it looked like that one piece was the only piece, but once he put it up there, we seen like, oh man, there's a whole nother piece. And I was like, okay. But he was like, do you have some paint? I can paint it white, so at least it won't look, you know, as tacky. And I'm like, nah, that's okay. But he was willing to paint that piece up there. So then he came back down, and then he went and he started looking like in the brush across the street and everything to see if a piece flew in over there somewhere. And I'm like, wow, this is above and freaking beyond, right? And mind you, did I tell y'all I called roofing people and siding companies, but nobody was available to come out because they were swamped. Like, they wouldn't even, like, 2 different companies wouldn't even give me a date and a time or nothing because they were swamped. So I was like extremely grateful for this until I can get my insurance people out to look at it. So in the meantime, he ended up, and let me say this, my one friend who was helping me, he's a black guy. This other guy who got up on the roof, he was a white guy. And I'm just saying this because, once again, I feel like a lot of things aren't race things, a lot of things aren't gender things. I feel like things are, life is a human experience. It's about connecting with humans on the same vibration as yourself. And that is, there's no color that you can put on that. There's no nothing. We are all souls and spirits in a body, right? So this other guy, the roof guy, is a white guy. So then he got on the phone and he called one of his friends, who I guess he does like roofing work. He called his friend to see if he had this piece that flew off my roof. He was like, did he have a piece of flashing? And he gave him like the dimensions, the measurements, the angle, the right side versus left side. He gave him all of this. He said, because I have a friend who needs this piece and everything. And so the other guy was like, yeah, I think I got that piece. And I'm just like, whoa, this is so daggone amazing, because I did not think that this could be done like that. I was totally just expecting him to come out, look at it, give me a quote, or tell me a yay or nay. That's all I was expecting. He was like, he's just gonna jump up on the roof before he thinks about it, because like I said, that ladder wasn't even tall enough to reach the roof properly. He was like, I'm not even gonna think about it, I'm just gonna hop up there and get it done. I'm like, yes, wow, let me look away and say a prayer. So this friend was like, yes, he got the piece. And I told him, I said, yo, I can go pick up the piece, because like I said, he had other things to do. Like, I was something he was fitting in on his way from point A to point B. So the next day, which was yesterday, he texted me with the information of where the other guy was, and just to tell him that, you know, he sent me and all of that. So I sent my tenant, because this is way out in Maryland, and now I'm in Virginia and I'm at work. So my tenant was able to go and pick it up, and no charge, free 90 freaking 9. Like, what? And so I text him and let him know that she got the piece and everything. And then he texted me and told me like around 3 o'clock yesterday, about 4 o'clock. He gets off of work at 3:30. So around 4 o'clock, he went back by the property, swung up on that roof again, and he got that piece back up. And only freaking charged me $60. What? $60. So I'm paying him more than $60. I'm gonna send him a check. He's like, oh, I know you good for it. Like, he wasn't even pressed with the money. So many lessons. One of the lessons in that is, where this thing got me going? We just gonna go this way. One of the lessons, I think I know what's happening. I bet you the thing is probably really, okay. One of the lessons in that is you always meet people who act like they don't need the money, or they don't, in which a lot of people don't need the money, but they're not willing to go above and beyond to make a few more dollars. Because this guy could have very well said, yo, I already have gigs lined up. This is a petty job. I don't want to do it. So for this guy to have a job, to have other gigs to do, to go up there 2 days in a row, to come back out, to make this happen for me, and then just to say $60, I mean, I feel like this is what abundance is made of. This is what wealth is made of. This is what the law of attraction is made of. I bet you that business and money is just flowing to him consistently, constantly, and without effort. You know, I'm paying him more than $60. Just out of my freaking gratitude, sheer gratitude alone, I'm gonna pay him more than that. And then, like I said, my other handsy guy, so we were out there for about, it was like 5 hours worth of work. Mind you, the first guy told me it was gonna be 15 hours worth of work. It was 5 hours worth of work, and that included us both running to the store to pick up some stuff. He came with me the first time, and then I made another store run a second time. But he, that was 5 hours worth of work. I paid him $300. Now, of course, that was homie discount added in there, and he was even gonna further discount it, and I'm like, no, $300. We good with $300. Like, what? This is just freaking amazing. I paid $100 in material. So now we at 300, 400, 500. I'm gonna give the roof guy 100, so 500. And then, since everything was happening so effortlessly, I had called the refrigerator people to see if they could come back out sooner than Friday, tomorrow. And they came out yesterday too. So when the roof guy got there, the refrigerator guy got there, I wasn't there. I gave my tenant all the instructions. I gave her what we wished for, what we dream, what would be the best case scenarios, because you know I love to dream, and I feel like that's part of making things happen and co-creating. You kind of do like the, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if somebody could come out and fix this roof? And I shout out to Carla, because I didn't think it could happen, and she was like, wouldn't it be nice? Because I'm always doing wouldn't it be nice, and I was like, well girl, that ain't gonna work this time. But I love that I had a friend who faith is strong enough to stand in the gap of for me when my faith wasn't, because I was just willing to take an L and to have to take more time to get all of this done and to pay more money. But she stood in that gap and did that wouldn't it be nice if, and she dreamed big for me, and it just came through bigger and better than I could have expected. And so I'm telling her about the refrigerator, because the refrigerator wasn't properly cooling. So I had the warranty, so I made the appointment with the warranty people to come out to fix the fridge. And so they came out, and come to find out, it was the motherboard needed to be replaced. And so they replaced the motherboard. I was thinking I was gonna have to buy a whole new refrigerator, but motherboard replaced, refrigerator is good as new. Only cost me the $75 service fee. When they come out, you got to pay the $75. I paid $50 a month for the warranty. So yeah, that's what's up. And so now I'm going out there now to take a look at the roof, to take a look at the refrigerator, I told my other handy guy, the one who came and only charged me $300, to make a list of other things that need to be done around the house, and we can slow walk that. We can get those things done slowly but surely over time. And yeah, that's what's up. I got a dishwasher repair person coming through, so I'm just freaking excited. That was just super amazing. I'm super freaking grateful for all of that. I mean, they looked out for me like I was family. I feel like we were family up in that Mickey piece. They was like, we're gonna get this done. I'm like, what, we are? Thank you, thank you. And now the last piece, well, not the last piece, but one of the pieces I gotta do is contact my insurance to get roof repairs and screen repairs possibly covered, because I believe that the roof, and of course that piece flew off during a storm. So yeah, so that's what's happening. But I needed to put something up there so that it wouldn't leak into the house, and so that the wood wouldn't get further damaged from the elements and everything. So all right, y'all, let me get out here and I'm gonna pick y'all back up later. This video is a million years long. I'm gonna have to cut out a lot of stuff, but all right.